Sub ID, welcome back to another episode of Suffering of Silence. It's me, Sab, here again with another episode. Obviously, I just said that. So I just got back home from Florida last night. I landed pretty late. Got in around 10:30, and came straight home. What the fuck? Came home, just got to see my dogs and sort of unpacked a little bit. Whatever. So that shit's not that important. Whatever. I got back home from Florida, and this trip was exactly what I needed. Met my friends down in Miami, and it was crazy, right? And we were supposed to do an episode. I'm gonna keep saying that until we do an episode, okay? But I feel like we just always partying too damn much to get our shit together and pull out the pod, okay? So yeah. I flew in on Friday, and I promise you, flying from Milwaukee to Miami is the most annoying shit ever because there's never good flights. There's never a direct flight. And if it is a direct flight, you got to be paying like somebody's salary just to get there. So my flight got in pretty late, in which had I known sooner that I was getting laid off, I would have taken an earlier flight. Because I think there might have been... Oh, wait, no, there weren't even options for earlier flights because the earlier flights would have still got me there really late. So I landed in Miami around like 11:30. And obviously my friends were out already. And they were like, yeah, just meet us out. And I'm like, yo, I'm literally going to have to change at the airport, get ready at the airport, and go straight there. So that's what I did. I left the airport, got off my flight, got my bags, changed in the fucking bathroom of the airport, and went straight to the club after. So yeah, that was crazy. That was an adventure in its own. That's such a Miami thing to do. I'll say that for sure. So yeah, it was great. We had a boat ride, and I was like, I'll be honest, like I think most people kind of know by now, like I really don't fuck with like going out too often because it's not really my type of thing to do. I don't thrive in those places, but I'll do it just because, I love hanging out with my friends. So we were vibing. We were all vibing, but I definitely took some time to like really think about my life and just kind of what I want to do next. And, one of my friends, my friend that's out there actually is someone who moved out of our hometown and at a very young age. And so we always talk about how much I have to be willing to like sacrifice and take the risk even if I'm not sure of what's going to happen. And like I feel like people don't credit people, like I feel like there isn't a lot of credit given to people who actually move out of their hometown because that is a major step. Like that's a huge move, right? I think at least, because a lot of the time people stay stuck in one place for their entire lives. And I love talking to my friends who have moved away. And I don't even want to say like, because I used to think that people who traveled often were also great people to like that can offer great insight, but I've kind of changed my perspective on that even as well, because there's people in the world who travel often, but they really don't, they're still just not as cultured as like you would think, right? Like because even like going to Portugal, like no shade to anyone on that trip, it was just that I felt like a lot of the people that were there, they could say like they've been to Europe multiple times and they've taken a lot of trips to different countries, and that was my first time out of the country ever, but there was just still a disconnect in like who they, like just how they are. Like I don't even want to shit on them, it's just more of, I wish I could explain it, I wish I could articulate it, but the best way I can say it is like you can just tell when someone actually absorbs and understands and is traveling for the learning part of it and the understanding part of it. Like, it's almost like a level of empathy that you would have when you travel somewhere and you learn the culture, you learn the people, you learn the, like, to me, it almost is like empathy, because you start to feel those things. Like, it gives you a tingly sensation inside. Like, for me, when I go to somewhere new and I find all these amazing things and learn about these amazing things and cultures and historical things, like, it makes me tingle inside, because I'm like, it's all warm and whatnot. So to me, I guess the best way I can, if I were to put a word on it, I would say it's almost like a level of empathy. Like, you feel those things about these people. Like, you really take it deep to the heart. So I enjoy having a lot of friends that do not live in my hometown or in my city, because it's not because, like, oh, I can say, like, I have friends here and there. It's because a lot of people outside of my hometown have a different state of mind. And it's not to say that people here don't. It's just a lot harder to find that here. People that actually can resonate with me and certain values that I have. So yeah, I mean, this is also for people who think that I really hate my city. I really don't. I love my city. I just feel like there's a lot of things that I've outgrown here, and I just can't get certain aspects of it from this place. So I truly enjoy just meeting new people. And I obviously thrive better in a more intimate setting, because I don't even know what to do with myself in the club. Like, I don't know how to shake ass. I'm just standing there looking like a fool. But yeah, it was seriously a wonderful trip, and I had such a great time with my friends, and like, I'm so appreciative that they invited me on this trip, and just having, like, I wouldn't have had that opportunity if it wasn't for them, and I'm just so grateful for it, because yeah, it's exactly what I needed right now. And I also got to spend some like quality time with, I mean, we weren't just partying the whole time. Like, I got to spend some quality time with my friends as well. And obviously I don't get to do that a lot because they live so far from me. So that was amazing. It was such a refreshing feeling, and it just gave me all the clarity I needed as far as what steps I'm going to take for my life next. When it comes to like my career and just what am I going to do with my life, right? Um, I know that most people look at losing your job as like a huge downfall, and it is. Like, you know, I'm going to lose out on a lot of money that I was once making. And I think like I talked about it in last week's episode, but obviously a lot of me having a hard time digesting the loss of this job was more so because I spent so many years there, of course. Second off, it was the shame that I felt, because I'd have to I'd have to tell my mother, I'd have to face the reality that like at 29 I'm going to be starting my life over. I also felt a level of shame, because I feel like there's tons of people out there in the world that are rooting for me to lose, and I don't know. I can't let that. I can't let that define me. I can't let that phase me, because there's always going to be someone who's going to be preying on your downfall. But that in itself says a lot about them. You know, like, you spend all your extra time rooting for someone else to fail when you should be focused on how you're going to get yourself out of the situation you're in. And I know that a lot of the people that probably are hoping, that are loving the fact that I lost my job, and I don't really give a shit, because if it was something that I felt so shameful of, like, I probably wouldn't share it on the internet. Like, I'm not fucking dumb enough to just share it on the internet and talk about it on the pod. I overshare a lot, but I'm not that stupid to share something that I cannot take or accept the criticism for, because I understand that there will be some criticism to the choices and the things I talk about. And that's fine. That's fine. That's exactly what Suffering of Silence was made for, was to talk about things that most people would conventionally be ashamed to talk about and wouldn't want to even give someone the opportunity to criticize them on. But sometimes criticism is what we need to keep moving forward, to reflect on ourselves and become better. And yeah, like I'm happy that for the most part my mom is accepting of some of the choices that I am making for my life now. And I know she's unhappy about certain things that I am going to be doing, but it's like I have to, like, when the whole thing initially set in, it's like I was so scared, right? Like I was terrified. I was ashamed to even bring it up to her. But now I'm like, why do I even give a shit? Because it's not anyone else's life but mine. Like, I'm making these choices because I feel like this is what's best for me. And it doesn't matter what someone else has to say about it. And I think it's so funny because as soon as I don't know if anyone else realizes or notices, but when you have, because there's always going to be something that happens in life in which it'll be a fork in the road. And you ever notice that, like, once something bad happens, like, more shit just starts to happen, and it's like a trickle effect. And not necessarily like a lot of bad things have been happening to me, but a lot of my exes have been like trying to pop back up in my life. And I think it's insane because I see it as you're trying to exploit on my vulnerability right now, or you think that this is my vulnerability because I'm at a crossroad in my life, but you thought wrong, bitch. This is not your moment to shine. This is not your moment to try and come back in my life. I'm very much still happy. I'm still very much happy. And the least of my focuses is my dating life. Like, that is the last thing I am concerned about. Because I just have too many other goals, like bigger goals and aspirations that I'm trying to attain. And I am so ready to just live the life that I feel like I was born to have. That was made for me. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, and I thought I'd mention it because not one but two exes try to squeeze their way into my life again. And the reason I talk about it, because I know everyone's always like, I don't want to give it the time of day, I don't even want to waste my breath or my thoughts on it. But it's like, yo, like, let's be honest, let's just talk about it, let's just be for real about how you feel about the shit, right? Like, I'll be honest, I was a little bothered because, one, it is triggering because one of them was my stalker. And I'm like, your ass should have been in jail. You should have paid for what you did. And then the other one, I guess I should have blocked sooner, but I always thought like, oh, like, I'll be cordial, and like, I always try to see the best in him because he was the best ex. Like, he was the best guy that I've ever actually dated. And that's not saying a lot either. Like, I'm sorry. It's no shade to him. It's just, it doesn't say a lot either. But I think that I was giving so many chances because I thought that, I could personally be there. Like, I could be his friend and not have an issue with anything. And I felt that way about more of the guys that I've dated recently because I'm like, it really didn't mean a lot to me. I mean, more specifically, I guess it is case by case. More specifically, though, this ex, I mean, things had just ended all right, and then it just exploded even more in the more recent, like, 6 months. And it's kind of upsetting because at one point, the way I look at it, right, is like, he talks to me the way that he talks to me because I let him talk to me that way in our relationship. And not even like in the romantic relationship, but just in our friendship dynamic in general. Like, the way we were coexisting, it was allowing him to speak to me in such a disrespectful fucking way. And I'm just not that person anymore. Like, I can't even entertain that type of shit. And I just wouldn't respond, or I'd laugh about it. And I just no longer even want to laugh about it. Like, I'm just kind of like, you know what? I want you to understand, like, I will never invalidate how you feel. You feel the way you feel because you knew me as a different person. And who I am now is not the same person. And also, you can't really change. I've just realized, like, you can't really change the relationship you have with someone, even if you as a person changes. Because it's always going to be the same. Like, unless both people have really done the work to change as their own selves, like as an individual, the dynamic between you guys, whether it's romantic or a friendship, will never, it's always going to stay the same. It's always going to be that toxic shit. And if I hadn't learned that in the past, then I'm definitely learning that now, for sure. Because even to even stay friends with him, it just was never going to work, because he has already crossed that boundary of disrespecting me. And for me to put my foot down now, he will still never respect that. He will never respect that. And that's just what it is. And I'm not saying that exes cannot be friends, because I believe that you can. I still believe that you can. I just think it takes a certain level of respect that is always in place in order for you to stay friends or stay cordial, right? And I think even with some of the, like, it doesn't even have to apply to a romantic relationship. I think it certainly applies to even like friendships, right? Because I've had recently a lot of friendships, and some due to really stupid fucking reasons, ones that have been truly close to me that I've been so vulnerable with and I've known for so many years, and it sucks because I didn't want to see the end of it, but I also did it. It wasn't my choice to end that friendship. I set a certain boundary of needing space while I'm going through something that is super personal to me. And if that person can't respect those things, like, then I can't change that, right? So I think as I'm going through this change in this phase of my life, it was really hard because the person that was closest to me that I wanted to talk to about these things wasn't really supporting me the way that I needed it. And also, I had to like distance myself, right? Because I didn't feel like I was being respected in the way that I felt like I deserved. And so it felt lonely to have to go through all of this in such a short amount of time. And yeah, I mean, it really hurt me to have to go through all of this without them. But here I am in the middle of it, alone, still living, still breathing, still surviving. And it's okay. Like, I know I'm going to be fine. I'm not worried necessarily about that part of it. I'm just more concerned about, like, what role do I play in my own suffering of things? Like, what role do I play in how things end with people? And because, like, I think I've said this before, but the way that I take things into perspective is when something ends, I always try to reflect and understand who I was in those situations and what part of me was reflected in how that part of my life ended. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's the end of a job, what part of me was a reflection of who was I during that time? What was it that resonated with me? And why did it have to end? Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to take from that to make myself a better person? And it's like crazy because like the more conversations I have more recently, I start to realize that a lot of people do not think the same fucking way. Do not think the same way at all. And that is truly scary to me. To think that most people don't reflect introspectively on the end of things. Like, I understand that you don't want to sit in the grief, you don't want to sit in the sorrow for too long, but I just feel like you have to try and understand what it says about what you could do to be a better version of yourself. I don't know. Maybe that's probably just me. And it scares me that people don't always think that way. But yeah. So that is some of the thoughts that I've had in the last week, and just kind of the direction of this change in my life, like kind of where we're going. And I actually have found a new job already. It's not in corporate. It's not like a big girl job necessarily, but it's something that is taking me in the direction that I want to go. I want something new. I want something that isn't going to drain my brain too much of my intelligence. So I don't have to think so hard about what I'm doing at my job. I can just come in, do my job, leave, go home, and continue to pursue other things outside of work. It's not nearly paying me as much as what I was getting paid in corporate America, but I will find a way to work things out. I don't know, I just believe like this is all going to come together and it's going to work itself out. I'm going to put in the work to obviously make it work. But yeah, like that is just kind of like life update right now. And oh my God, let me also just give a huge shout out to everyone who has been there for me, that has been reaching out with all of their love and support, and y'all's words mean so much to me. Like, it's a lot to put the spotlight on myself as I'm going through something super challenging and super personal. But to see all the love and support from you guys is amazing. Like, the outpour that I'm receiving from you guys is just so touching. Like, I feel so warm. I feel so loved by everyone. And it's people that I wouldn't even expect to hear from. So I can't appreciate you guys enough for, just bringing your girl up. You feel me? Like, that's exactly, like, as much as people want to say, like, you don't care what people think, you don't care, like, that you don't need the external validation, because you really don't. You really don't, as long as you feel secure in yourself. When shit like this happens to you, I feel like as secure as you are with yourself, you are always going to feel some level of shame, some level of insecurity, and sometimes reaching out and getting the support that you're not able to fully give yourself is just what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that I live and breathe for people's opinion of me and I live and breathe for people's support, but it's good to know that I have that. It's good to know that I got people looking out for me, praying for me, that are wishing nothing but the best for me, genuinely from the bottom of their heart. Because that's not easy to do, as I'm learning. I mean, some of us it's easy to do, but a lot of people is really not. But it means the most to me. I love reading the comments. I love reading the messages that y'all have sent me. Cause even as dark of a time as I might be going through, I would never do anything to genuinely hurt myself. Those days have been long gone. So I truly appreciate everyone's like concern about that. And also, I found that crazy that, like, even when I posted that, people that I thought were close to me I guess it became their last straw. They just like unfollowed me. I get it. It can be triggering, but at the same time, if you really care about someone, you would try to be there for them in the best way possible. And cutting them off entirely is not really supportive. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, I still truly just can't say enough how much I love you guys for all the words of support and love that you've sent me. And you guys even were sharing some of your experiences and the things that you're going through right now. And I'm so grateful that like I could be that space for you guys. And like it makes me emotional because it's like that's all I've ever wanted to do with this podcast was like, I was just trying to create the space where we could talk about unconventional shit that no one wants to talk about, that most people would find shame in. And like I wanted to have these conversations with you guys, and I wanted to be able to allow you guys to talk to me about this. And it doesn't have to be openly, it can be in a private conversation, but I love that like y'all feel safe enough with me to like share what you're going through, because being this vulnerable and like sharing yourself with a large audience is not easy. And like I could literally be a stranger to most of you guys, and for y'all to like reach out to me and like share what you're going through, like that means so much to me, because that's genuinely what I feel like I was made for. It was like, I'm here to be the support that you might not be getting. I'm here to open a space for you to talk about the things that you're afraid to talk about. And it just feels good. It feels good to know that like y'all are doing, like I'm actually doing the things that I want to do. And I would say that's succeeding. That's success to me. And it's just everything I've ever needed. Everything I've ever wanted, especially in a time like this when I could doubt myself more than ever. So, yeah, that just makes me emotional because, like, damn. I'm really doing it. And I believe that I'll find success in this. Goddamn. Like, y'all are the ones that keep me going. Like, things like that. Like, I really don't take it lightly. I don't. Oh, fuck. So, these episodes might be a little bit shorter now that I'm doing them weekly, but I wanted to share something else that I was like thinking about this week. This is going to be my more, I guess, abstract thoughts, less attainable thoughts to most people. Some people don't really believe in astrology too much, and don't necessarily care too much about spirituality, but that's okay. I'm a big spirituality girly over here, and I'm kind of into astrology. Just like I said in the last episode, this is my Saturn return, y'all. Like, y'all are watching me in the peak of my Saturn return. And Saturn is showing me that I cannot define myself based off of a job. The role that I play in life is not based off of my occupation. And for me, what's important is the role I play in life, my life purpose, not my occupation. And I'm still trying to define, I'm still trying to understand why I hold so much weight in what my occupation is. I'm more than sure it's some of the values that have been like instilled in me as a child. And just kind of like the world that I've grown up in. Like, people are mostly defined by the job they have versus their life's purpose. And as much as I feel the importance of your life's purpose over your occupation, it's still a lot of unlearning to do in between that. And that's what I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to work through as well personally. But to be more on the astrology side of it, so over the summer, over the last year, I've really been getting so much closer to like a lot of Geminis. And also my daddy's a Gemini, so shout out my dad. Love you, Dad. And but he's a May Gemini, okay, so that's a little different. So yeah, I had gotten a lot closer to a lot of Geminis in the last year, and I was just kind of thinking like I really didn't even see the pattern for a minute. Like I was like, what the fuck? Another Gemini, another Gemini, another Gemini, another one. And I was trying to understand what it was that was drawing me towards them. And so based off my own research in astrology, if you're being sent Geminis in your life, it means you need to learn to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. And it all makes sense that this has been happening in the last year, because in the last year, I have taken a lot of risks. I've made a lot of mistakes and actually learned from them. I'll be honest, I risked it all traveling every fucking month last year. I risked it all doing all of those things that I just felt like was making me happy, because I could have lost everything. And yeah, right now it kind of feels like I am, but like I'm still here, I'm still alive, I still have plans, I still have my emotional stability, I still have my, like, I'm still smart enough to figure it out, and I'm gonna figure it out, you know. But it all makes sense as to why so many Geminis have been sent to me in the last year. And at first I was sort of angry about it, because Geminis can be a little toxic, okay? Very flip-floppy. And I was being very much confused by a lot of the things that were going on in my dynamics with these Geminis. But it all makes sense. It just makes sense for me now. It just all makes sense for me now. And so shout out to the Geminis that I have come across in the last year. One in particular, Bella, love you. But yeah, it's funny because one of those Geminis actually is, I hate to say it, but I've said it often, has been like a huge inspiration to me, especially in the last year, because I've been, more motivated to pursue things creative in my life. And this specific person is very creative. They are so, like, I wish I could find the most beautiful way to explain just how passionate this person is about what they do. And I wish I could say it without some shame, but people hate me for saying the things that I say about this person, but it's okay. Because if you understood how it feels to like want to break free of this shell that you have, and if you could understand how it feels to just want to fully engulf yourself in your creative aspects of your life and your personality and who you are, and like expressively be yourself, then you would understand that Geminis are so perfect for that. Like this specific Gemini was bringing out those parts of me without even knowing. And I don't even think that this person would even remember, but one of the first times that I reconnected with this person, I literally looked at them and said, I truly, genuinely love seeing you do what you're doing. I love watching you pursue your dreams and what makes you happy, because I wish I did that. I wish I had the audacity to do those things. And that's the kind of things that I want to have more in my life of, is someone who's willing to take those risks and willing to just believe in themselves. Even when there isn't a lot of fruit from their labors. I told this person that straight up, and I still feel that way to this day. And I still love watching and seeing what they're doing. Well, I don't even do that anymore. I don't even see or watch what they're doing anymore. But when we were at a better place in our dynamic, when we were on good terms, I enjoyed watching that so much. Like, that was one of my favorite things. It wasn't necessarily because of my feelings about them personally. It was just watching them just be authentically themselves, pursuing what makes them happy. And it's genuinely inspiring. And I wish I had more people like that surrounding me. And even with the amount of people that would hate on this person and would shit on this person and clown this person, like, they never let up. Like, they were always so secure in themselves, well, enough to keep going, you know. And that's what made me realize that, like, a lot of people are just so fucking unhappy with themselves. Like, I could never hate someone for going after what they want. And I think it's insane to me that people take time out of their day to clown someone who's going after what they want, when they could be spending that extra fucking time doing what makes them happy too, so they wouldn't even be wasting time clowning someone else for being happy. Like, I just wish that people understood that. But that's kind of really all that I had to say about astrology and the non-physical attainable thoughts that I had. Things that some people may not relate to. But I have a busy couple of days. I really hope that I could stick with this weekly schedule, because yeah, I have a new job lined up. I'm starting literally the next day. So yeah, it's been a great week. I'm happy to be home from vacation, but I also miss vacation. Being able to just do nothing, love it. But now it's grind time. I gotta get back into it, and we'll see where things take me. But yeah, again, I really appreciate everyone who's been there to support me, shown me love, support, and just being willing to share their experiences with me and opening up to me. Because it's different from, like, I know there's that saying of misery loves company, and I feel like that saying specifically refers to someone who is purposely trying to bring someone else down with them, to join them in their misery. But when you share experiences and you resonate with someone, like, that's different. That is completely different. That is just resonating with someone. That's literally sharing your experience, because sometimes it's good to know you're not alone. And you're uplifting each other. You're not trying to bring one another down. So yeah. Oh, and also, if you haven't seen the TikToks and Instagrams that I've posted, but I got a new tattoo while I was in Jack's. I don't know if you can see it because I still have the derma skin on. But it's a lotus flower. I've been wanting this on my ear for a while. I was going to keep this side of my face pretty clean, because I actually just want one sleeve. I just want my right arm to be my sleeve, and, like, most of my tattoos on the right side of my body, and keep my left side just a little bit cleaner. But I really wanted this lotus flower, and I know, basic bitch shit, whatever. But if you guys didn't know, a lotus represents a variety of things, and a lotus actually blooms from the water. Like, it grows from the water. There's no dirt, no mud needed. And just the beauty in that alone, I love that concept. But also, a lotus represents a rebirth. And I've been wanting this tattoo for a minute, and it's just amazing that I was able to do it now, because I am actually literally going through a major rebirth in my life. I'm entirely redefining myself and who I am, and no longer working in corporate America, and no longer am I defining myself based off of my occupation. And it sucks because losing my job is what took me to do that, and it's humbling in so many ways. So I'm very much excited to bring you guys on this journey of my rebirth, and just I'm so nervous. I'm so scared, but just excited that you guys get to watch it with me in real time. So yeah, keep sending in your experiences, your stories. If you want me to share your stories on the pod, I'm more than happy to. But shout out y'all. Shout out my subscribers. Like, you guys really have a special place in my heart forever. And just keep tuning in, because I will be working on those weekly episodes for you guys as much as I can. But yeah, I gotta get going. I gotta get to work. But I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys soon, and just keep in mind that this podcast was always built on love. So just keep it that way, please. I'm gonna talk to you guys next week. See ya.